In this video, I'm going to walk you through the framework that I give my clients when they come to me and say, I don't have any time. And we immediately find anywhere from a minimum of 5 hours a week, sometimes as much as 20 or 30 hours of additional time per week. Then I'm going to share with you a few additional points on how you can maximize and spend your time. It's the same way that I have my clients spend their time, and my clients average 153K a month, and they grow by an average of about 78% in their first 90 days working with us. That includes some of the biggest names in the industry: Brandon Carter, Dan Henry, Ravi Abuvala, Justin Saunders, Victoria Kennedy, Eli Wild, Elliot Holst, Casey Shipp, Brian Mancata. So I had a client a few years ago who was stuck at 30K a month. They were working very, very hard in their online coaching business, 12, 14-hour days. They were not enjoying the freedom that they started their business for in the first place, despite all of the other frameworks and systems. They'd bought a lot of different programs and courses and mentorship and coaching, but they were stuck and just burning it at both ends. And so I'm like, all right, well, if you're not where you want to be, you're not spending your time on the right stuff. So I created this tool that I call the time audit tool. And I said, go back through yesterday, the day before, and just hour by hour, minute by minute, let's segment how you're spending your time. And let's just see, maybe you are doing all of the right things. Let's just find out. You're like, oh no, everything's maxed out. I don't have time for my family. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to do anything that they want to do. And I said, well, okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's find out. So I gave them this tool. I said, fill this out and let's just see. And so they filled this tool out. They took a time inventory of their last 48 hours. And I've never had anybody go through this and not find at least 2 to 5 hours a day in just completely unaccounted for time. And so again, I'm going to link that in the description, but your perception of time is what really matters. You think you don't have time. You think you're really busy. The truth of the matter is you're procrastinating and you're not spending time on the right stuff. So as you go throughout this time audit tool, the one thing that it's going to ask you is, what is your income over the last 30 days? And then it's going to, as you fill it out, it's going to basically calculate your real income per hour. So that is a very important metric, because this tool, it's automatically going to tell you what you should be doing more of, what you should delegate, and what you should stop doing altogether. And so that number, that personal profit per hour metric, is what you want to weigh everything against. Most likely you're doing things that you could easily stop doing or easily delegate to somebody else. And so, for example, if your profit per hour is $200 an hour and you're still doing your own laundry, you could hire somebody to do your laundry for $5 to $10 an hour. But you want to know your profit per hour, your income per hour. That's what you weigh all of your decisions against. And if you have any reservations of like, oh no, I really should do that, I have a responsibility to do that over here because that's how my parents did that, and you have all of these beliefs that are keeping you doing things that aren't making you money. Again, we're optimizing for profit here. We're not optimizing for anything else. It's how much time do we spend to make our goal amount of profit. The idea is to spend as little time as possible to make as much profit as possible. So if you have any of these beliefs or you feel guilty for not doing a certain thing, you can also grab this in the description. It's called the 7-Figure Mind Method, and it'll walk you through to eliminate and rewire your mind so that you don't have that guilty feeling or fears of, not fulfilling on promises and all of the stuff that keeps us stuck. Because at the end of the day, it's our beliefs that create our thoughts that create our actions or inactions, and it's our actions or inactions that create the results. So if you don't have the results that you want, you must have some beliefs that need to be shifted. Make sense? Cool. Now, there's 3 different areas that we can spend time on. First is profit producing. So profit producing, this would be things that include talking to human beings who could give you money. I'm way overgeneralizing this, but if you're talking to human beings who could give you money, that would be a profit producing, a direct income generating activity. Now, if you have a sales team and somebody else is talking to your clients or your prospects or your customers on your behalf, great, you have some leverage. So we want to create systems for them so that we are leveraging leverage in creating more profit and efficiency that allow them to collect more cash and maximize their time. So this is one of those frameworks that you can take your sales team through as well. I took my sales team through it back when I had a sales team, which I don't anymore, because they were complaining about all of the hours that they were working. And I had them do this time audit tool. And it turns out, on average, I think one of them found 6 hours of unaccounted for time, and the other one found 8 hours of unaccounted for time, and they felt awful sheepish after going through that. So we want to spend time on profit producing activities. And remember, profit is income minus expenses. So profit producing activity would be something like automating your investments or reducing your expenses or automating your savings. We take all of our clients through a money protocol where we calculate their ideal lifestyle costs. We reverse engineer all of that to where we know exactly what they need to be doing in their business today and every single day into the future to both live their ideal lifestyle today as well as perpetually into the future, even if their business completely shits the bed. And this includes building up what we call your freedom number, and that is the amount of liquid wealth that you need to draw down on 4% of that and live your ideal lifestyle and have it grow on average by 8% into perpetuity. So if you don't have that automated, you can check out the link in the description to see how we do that. But if you're not setting up systems like that, those are really high leverage systems. Those are systems that I've had clients that set up 4 or 5 years ago that are the sole reason that they have the liquidity that they have today. It took them 7 minutes to set it up, and it automated their entire feeding of their investment account. And we do it in a way to where, depending on your risk tolerance and whatever, I'm not a financial advisor, but we do calculate what is it that you need to do and how can you automate it so that you don't have to remember to do it. That would be a profit producing activity. Then we have future profit producing activities. This is things that you can work on today, like creating content. So this for me is a future profit producing activity. This is creating an asset that will live for me on YouTube and wherever else this is posted for years to come, and creates leverage for me. And so you gotta get to know me. We're here in Northern Michigan, about to wrap up a few weeks here. We actually hosted our Bulletproof Boardroom members at this very, very exclusive private yacht club. All these houses behind me are like $12 million houses. It's a super, super cool spot. But this allows you to kind of get to know me and creates leverage for me so that we don't have to, do the whole hard close on a sales call thing, to where our clients come in already kind of getting to know me and our methodology and what we do. This would be one way of spending time that a future profit producing activity. So making content is one, building and tweaking a sales funnel, building and tweaking a VSL or sales letter, creating ads, something that doesn't create profit today, but is designed to create leverage and profit tomorrow. That would be the second way to spend your time. Third way, admin. This is tracking, paying bills, scheduling personal appointments, organizing stuff around the house, shit like that. You want to do as little of this as humanly possible. And you were like, what about working out and eating? Those would be admin activities as well. You can't delegate those. They're important, but when you're, working, you want to pack as much profit producing and future profit producing activity in your day as possible. And so you might be asking, all right, well, in what order should I do this? Glad you asked. Check this out. So this is the basic framework of like a day structure that I've followed. My clients ask me like, oh, what's your daily routine? So this is pretty much my daily routine. I wake up around 5:30. You don't have to. Again, you can move these hours around as much as you want. But the first thing I do is I track my finances, because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, it's pretty much impossible to get there. So we got to track our finances. I use an app called Monarch. We take our clients through this protocol to essentially set up and automate a lot of the tracking of your entire financial universe. Because the way we get rich is having more money left over at the end of the month than when we started. And so the way we do that is we have our income higher than our expenses, and we have this bit left over, and that's after taxes. So you want to know your entire life margin. That's the first margin that you want to know. Your second margin that you want to know is what I call your IRS margin. What does the IRS think you profited? And that would include all business expenses. What is your performance profit margin? So your performance profit margin would be the margin of your business before you write off, for example, if you have a car that you bought or something like that, to take advantage of the full depreciation now that Trump has reenacted that full write-off law or whatever. You write off that whole thing. That didn't directly affect the performance of your business. It's not like, oh shoot, we lost 100 grand this month because I bought a car. Like, yeah, according to the IRS you did, but the business itself didn't, right? So Keith Cunningham, one of my mentors, calls that a yaya expense. Why? I don't know. It's a bullshit expense. So all of the bullshit write-offs that don't directly affect the performance of the business, those would be excluded from your performance profit. So you want to be able to track these three margins, and we do it automatically with a platform called Monarch, and then we take that financial data and it syncs with our Teddy business KPI tracking platform. And so that's the second thing we do. We track finances. Takes about 3 minutes. Once you have the whole thing set up, you know exactly where you stand. You know your net worth down to the penny. I've been doing this since 2017. It's probably one of the biggest contributors, if not the biggest contributor to growing a 7-figure net worth in that time period. And I don't understand how people function without tracking their finances. I don't get it. So if you're not tracking your finances, reach out, find a link in the description, find out what our tracking protocol is. Maybe it'll work for you, unless you really just like flying blind and aimlessly into the wilderness and the abyss and hoping to God that somehow magically you get rich. That is most people's strategy. If that's your strategy, I would highly recommend rethinking that. Second thing, review business KPIs. The financial universe that we have is the most important universe that we have. That's what the business fuels. So we're kind of going from like lagging indicators at the end of the day, net worth, growing our liquidity. That's what matters most. What is the vehicle that fuels that liquidity? That would be our business. So we want to track that second. So we look at all of the indicators in our business to see, all right, are we on pace for profit? Are we on pace for new clients? Are we on pace for new leads? Are we spending enough on ads? All of that is knowable information. And when you reverse engineer all of this, you'll know exactly what do you need to spend on ads? How many leads do you need to get? How many clients do you need to get? If you book calls, how many book calls do you need to get? Our Teddy tracking system reverse engineers that whole thing so that you don't have to guess. And that's how I've scaled 3 businesses past 7 figures. It's really just math at the end of the day. And people are afraid of numbers. And that's crazy because numbers are why you got into business in the first place, unless you just like really weird types of entertainment. So from that point, we want to make sure our mind's right for the day. So you can check out, again, the 7-Figure Mind Method book, but there's a whole process called the Bulletproof Mind System that we have our clients go through. And basically what that is taking a whole inventory of all of the shit that you got in your mind, that mental noise, that mental chaos. And we start putting order to it. And we have a series of tools and processes that usually 3 to 5 days a week. It's kind of like going to the mental gym. It's clearing your mind so that you're ready for the day, so you can attack the day with a clear mind, not worried or nervous or pissed off at your team or feeling guilty about not spending time yesterday with your family who was begging you to go do something and you had to take care of something, put out a fire because of the previous time misspent. We basically just clear the mental slate every single morning. And from there, usually some sort of education. So for me, that's an audiobook. For our clients, it's going through our course curriculum, although it's very short and punchy. That's the time where I'm like, just attack that when it really matters most at the beginning of your day. So you're starting your day with a clear mind, you know exactly where you are, exactly where you're going, and you have your action plan for the day. From there, from about 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., you're doing income producing activities, future income producing activities, and hopefully 0 admin activities. And so what does that look like? Well, depending on where you are in your journey, here's the hierarchy. 1, take sales calls if you have them, right? Talking to people who could give you money and you could run their credit card, good idea. 2nd, set them or have your team set them, right? Then outbound or ad spend to set them, right? We got to outflow to inflow. Then recruit, hire, train a team to set and take sales calls or do sales activities, whatever your sales mechanism is. And 5th, build marketing and delivery systems in that order. And that's pretty much the hierarchy of the day. At the end of the day, review what were the KPIs that happened during the day. And from there, go have a workout at the gym, have some dinner, hang out. We watch a show at night and go to bed. We're usually in bed around 9. You don't have to, again, follow these hours, but that's like the basic framework. And so it's not sexy at all, but it does bear fruit. So next, very important, energy management. How do we manage our energy throughout the day? Well, we only have so many energy units during a day, or as I like to say, we only have so many fucks to give. And we start the day with a finite amount of fucks, and they start to dissipate as we give them throughout the day. And so we want to get to know what are our peak hours where we can give the most fucks, and that's where we want to spend our time on the most important tasks for that day. So for me, my peak hours in terms of energy are basically from about 6:30 a.m. to to about 3 in the afternoon. Okay. It's a pretty solid time period there, but it basically, I have this kind of dissipating curve as it goes throughout the day. And so we want to make sure that we put all of the energy that we can into our highest leverage activities while we're most mentally with it for that day. So we want to start something, have a window where we execute on that activity, not multitasking, jumping around all over the place, doing 17 things at a time. Make sure you turn off notifications on your phone. I don't understand how people live with notifications. It's an awful, awful thing. It's guaranteed to make you poorer for sure. Just turn them off and just focus on the 1 or 2 major activities that are going to move the needle the most. They're going to be profit producing activities or future profit producing activities. Just set your one massively major important outcome for that day and just do it until it's done during that time period. If nothing else, you'll get that done and you will feel better about yourself. And the reason that you don't want to jump around doing 17 different tasks at once is because there's a thing called activation energy, and that's just the energy that it takes to start something. And so if you're running out of energy relatively quickly, it's probably because you're starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping. And so this is basically the easiest way to get into the flow state and just get absolutely locked in, no notifications, focus on one thing and only that one thing until it's done. And just set yourself, I'm going to have this thing done by this time today, and you'll feel really, really good about yourself. And your energy will increase as a result. And if it is the right thing, which that's another reason why you want to track your data, is because if you're spending that time block on the wrong shit and you've identified, you might think this happens a lot, you might think you need more leads as an example, or you might think you need more clients, when the reality is there's 2 or 3 levers that you can pull that can triple your profit without any more leads and without any more clients. I know that because I recently had a client come to me who we did this for, and we tripled his profit within 90 days while only increasing his top line by about 20%. We tripled his actual take-home cash in his jeans profit just by focusing on the right constraint and the right bottleneck. And if you're not tracking and you don't have accurate numbers, and if I asked you right now, hey, show me your last 30 days, show me your last 60 days, show me your last 7 days or 4 days or any individual time frame of your business KPIs, and you can't do it, and you're sitting there going, oh, my VA's gonna update it, I'll have it in the next week or so. Well, then what the fuck are you going to do for the next week or so if you have no idea how to identify the right constraint? The way that you feel is not a decision-making engine. That's why Warren Buffett says if emotions have no place in decision-making in business, is because numbers tell you what to focus on, not your feelings. And if you're not where you want to be, you're probably making decisions a little too much, a lot too much on your feelings. So cut that shit out, get clear on your numbers, and you'll be able to know, if I focus on this constraint during this particular time period today, it will mathematically move the needle the most. Not what you think is the most important time, but what actually is mathematically the most important thing. This is the most important thing you need to understand in order to grow your business, bar none. All right, and I've made a list of things that suck your time and their remedy here. So this is going to be a rapid fire little checklist that I think will help. So if you're thinking too much, focus on getting the outcome. That's the remedy. So if you're thinking about something too much, overthinking, say, what is my outcome? What is my outcome? Here's a hint. It's getting more profit and creating systems and leverage that get you more profit. Spend time on that. If other people are sucking your time, the remedy is set firm boundaries with your family, with your friends, with your team, with your clients, and get them to agree to respect those boundaries. And if they're being a pain in the ass or you're afraid to have that conversation, we give our clients a whole framework on how to have those tough conversations. But again, clear that fear with the 7-figure mind method so you can actually do the things that you know you should be doing, like setting those boundaries, having those conversations. Stop assuming shit, all right? And if other people are sucking your time, let's say you're in traffic or you go to the gym and it's jam-packed. Well, do things at the opposite times that other people do them. When are the masses doing this? Do it at the opposite time. Great rule of thumb. If the masses are doing something, do the exact opposite. The masses are poor and broke and just fucked and miserable. So do the exact opposite and you'll be rich and happy. All right, notifications, turn them off. Do not disturb 24/7. It's really easy to do. But what if I miss something? Then clear that with this 7-figure mind method, or just suck it up and deal with it. But you can't have other people constantly running your life, running your time. It's going to be impossible for you to get to where you want to go. If you're stressing, again, use this. That's a time suck. Don't be stressing. Okay. If you're multitasking, do one thing at a time. Don't have multiple tabs open. Stop with the multiple tabs shit, all right? Only have the tabs open that you're actually using. When you're done a thing, close the tabs. Keep your shit organized. Money loves organization. Keep your shit organized. If you're just messing around and you find yourself kind of getting distracted down a rabbit hole, there's an app that you can install on your computer. I think this is, I don't know, I have it for Mac. If you're not using a Mac, what are you doing? Set a timer using the Timer RH app. You can have little keyboard shortcuts that set like a 10-minute timer, 15-minute timer, however long, and it'll let you know how much time you have left and see if you can beat the clock. If you're having a tough time looking for stuff and you're wasting time finding files and folders and shit, organize them, okay? Organize your stuff with pin your tabs, pin your bookmarks, your naming conventions in your Google Drive, or connect your Google Drive to whatever, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and have it search for you, but make it easy for you to pull stuff up, especially those things that you normally pull up like regularly. Like our KPI tracking dashboard, it's pinned to the top of my Chrome all the time, as well as the data sources that feed it in case I need to check something. So it's those little things that save 30 seconds here, 4 minutes there, 15 minutes there, that all adds up. Okay. If you're wasting time repeating yourself, you want to create what we call a freedom system that answers those questions for us. So I have a whole thing that I'm giving you a part of it for free when you click in the link in the description, that basically when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I don't have any time, I say no more, fam, do this time audit and get back to me and with how many hours you find. And I only have to say that in 4 seconds and they can go off and do the thing, come back to me, and I have a leveraged resource that allowed them to get value without my personal time. And so if you find yourself repeating stuff over and over and over again, I'll do a separate video on this, but you want to create little systems that people can find a resource without ever talking to a human. They can use that resource that gets them the result that they're after. Very, very important. If you are wasting time driving places or commuting, order stuff, work from home, or have other people do it. Pretty straightforward. Pretty simple. I work remote / I work from home. I don't go anywhere outside of the gym. Why? Is because it's a hilarious waste of time and it's irresponsible for me to do so when I can spend $7 to have my groceries delivered. No reason for anyone in our household to go get groceries unless it's a really enjoyable activity. Sometimes my wife really loves to go like feel the fucking cantaloupes and shit. Like, great, feel the cantaloupes. Excellent. If you're wasting time figuring stuff out, ask Google, ChatGPT, ask in groups, crowdsource, right? Hey, has anybody figured out a way to XYZ? Don't try to figure it out on your own. Go figure out who's already figured it out and have them just tell you. Okay. Wasting time with trial and error. You pay someone who has the results that you want and have them tell you what to do. So you could start a Google Fest or a ChatGPT Fest on trying to figure out what's the best way to track finances for an online coaching business. Or you could reach out to us and I could just give you a thing that you could install in 5 minutes and it could be done. That would be a more efficient use of time. In the same way, I'm sure you have stuff that people pay you for because they don't want to waste time with their trial and error, whatever it is, right? And finally, if you're wasting time fixing shit and putting out fires, correcting your team, fixing broken systems, do it right the first time. The reason you didn't do it right the first time is because you weren't paying attention, because you were distracted with notifications, putting out other fires while simultaneously trying to do deep work, and it's not going to work. You're going to rush through things to try to get it done quickly. It's going to be done poorly, and you effectively are creating more work for yourself and wasting more time by multitasking and trying to do 6 things at once. You can't do it. Stop trying to do it. All right. So at this point, we know how to dominate your time. That's pretty much it. It's really pretty unsexy, but it's very, very useful. We know how to focus on profit producing activities, build systems that create leverage for yourself so that you can reclaim your freedom, reclaim your energy, and know where to spend your time and maximize your time so that you know where best to spend your time and when best to spend it. You don't want to do things when you're at your peak. You don't want to do really intricate deep work at the end of your day because you've wasted all of your energy putting out fires, being exhausted and pissed off at people and systems for breaking and not producing the profit that you want. You don't want to do your deep thinking work after you're all depleted. You want to do that when you're freshest, whenever that is for you. I used to be a guy who my best working hours was like 9 p.m. to like 4 a.m. And I've pretty much flipped that now that I'm married, have a kid. Like those are ridiculous hours. I could do that when I was single, but I can't do that anymore. And in fact, I like it better the way that it is now. Anyway, I hope that was extremely helpful for you. And I hope you stop using your time like a complete moron and you're able to make more profit. That said, I'm going to go for the rest of my day and enjoy this beautiful weather that we have here in northern Michigan. It is like 74 degrees. You can see the boats behind us. It's very wonderful. I'm now winding down this video. You can either click the link in the description, grab this book, grab the time free shit that I'm giving you in the description, and or you can just check out the next video that YouTube has lined up for you right here. Either way, thanks for watching. Chat soon.